So recently I've been able to ride in every single region in the United States. There are 5 different regions: the Southeast, the Northeast, the Midwest, the Southwest, and then the West Coast. Now I know a lot of you are already just like, only ride in the West Coast, blah, 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 blah. But I did find a lot of gems and a lot of rad things in each region of the United States for skiing and snowboarding, and I wanted to share those with you today. I'm also going to rank each region, so the one I talk about first is gonna be the worst, all the way ending on the best, and maybe the best might surprise you, so stay tuned. But let's jump into the Southeast, which a lot of people don't even realize there is skiing and snowboarding there. Now the Southeast skiing and snowboarding is mainly dominated by North Carolina and Virginia, with West Virginia having some good ski resorts as well. Now I haven't rode in West Virginia yet, and in Virginia I've only ridden at Liberty Snowflex, which is my favorite Southeast ski resort, believe it or not. It's so much fun. I was just there like a week ago and I had a blast. But North Carolina has a bunch of small, really rad hills, but the thing that makes the Southeast so incredible is the culture. The fact that these ski resorts are so small and so icy because it's primarily man-made snow. They might get 1 to 2 snowfalls a season, and they could be pretty good dumps, but for the most part it's man-made snow. They can have really bad winters, but the locals and the people that ride in those areas still show up and have an incredible time. Some of the resorts put a lot of time and energy into their terrain parks, which is really rad. But one of the things that I love most is like, these are family-owned ski resorts. You know, corporations aren't trying to put ski resorts in North Carolina, so when you go there, it's like family-owned, older ski community vibes and feelings, and it's a lot radder than being at a mega ski resort. Very similar to the 4th best region, which is the Midwest. Now the one thing about the Midwest is it has the happiest skiers and snowboarders. The first thing they're gonna do is invite you to come ride their little hill, because they have 0 mountains in the Midwest. It's all hills. These are the smallest resorts you're gonna find, or ski hills, whatever you wanna call them, in the United States. These things are absolutely tiny and jam-packed with steel. Rails, sometimes jumps, don't trust a Midwest jump. But the Midwest is just known for their park riding. They have tow ropes and you just could get lap after lap. Some of the best snowboarders come out of the Midwest, at least when it comes to the terrain park, because that's all they do is they ride the terrain park, but they're so happy and cold. This is a very cold region, so make sure you bundle up, but tow rope riding actually can be pretty warm, so it's like a weird balance of like, it's freezing outside, but you might get too hot. It's super unique. Believe it or not, the Midwest will get 2, maybe 3 like pretty large snowfall up there, but the biggest thing about the Midwest is it just doesn't melt. So they'll get like 6 inches and it just sits around all winter long until it melts immediately. So they go from like having snow, it's really cold, to like a light switch, all the snow's melted and the season's over. It's crazy. But if you're really into terrain park snowboarding, and even if you live west, I highly encourage a trip out to the Midwest. You know, places like Highland Hills, Trollhagen, Spirit Mountain are all really incredible places that not only can you have a ton of fun riding, it's really cheap to go to these places. So if you're in Texas and you're like, I kind of like the park riding, things like that, you could do a Midwest trip and like cut your budget in half, which is insane. And once again, these are all like family owned, not very corporate resorts. There are some out there, but for the most part, like, it's so sick. Now, if you're really wondering why I went to the Southeast, the Midwest to go skiing and snowboarding, it's because I have this crazy goal to ride every single ski resort in the United States, and you guys can track my progress by going to resortskimaps.com. Now, this is a resort map with literally every single ski resort in the United States. If you click on any of the green snowboards, those are the resorts that I have been to, and the video of our time there will pop up and you can watch that. So if I've been to your ski resort, you can see it. If your ski resort is red, that just means I haven't been there yet, and you can click the top right-hand corner and see where I'm coming for this upcoming ski season. Super rad. It's gonna be a lot of work to ride every single ski resort in the United States. So if you wanna support that journey, please consider snagging an Evolution sticker. We do have a ski version for all the skiers out there, but any of the merch, guys, I take that money and I put it back into the traveling. So thank you so much for everyone that has snagged a sticker and supported the fund of riding every single ski resort in the United States. Now moving on from the Midwest, we're going to the Northeast, which literally has the most ski resorts, period. Oh my gosh. Fun fact, New York State has the most ski resorts out of any state, but the Northeast has the most amount of ski resorts, period. I need to like rent a house up there for a month and just knock out as many as I can in a day to complete that section of riding every resort. But there's so many, guys. But the cool thing is they actually do have legit mountains like Whiteface and Gore, Killington, a lot of really big resorts that you would kind of find like you feel like you're riding in the West Coast when you're at these resorts. Like being from the West Coast, I did not expect the Northeast to have legitimate ski resorts because all they do is complain up there. The Southeast and the East Coast in general is just full of a bunch of complainers. Like Like, I wish they would take notes from the Midwest, because the Midwest just has as much ice as the East Coast has. But honestly, the East Coast, especially the Northeast, can get decent snowfall consistently throughout the season. And then I know some seasons can be really bad over there. I get it. But overall, every time I've gone to the Northeast, I've had incredible riding, incredible conditions. So I know it can be good out there. It just kills me when every single video gets a East Coast POW day, or like just the complaints are like, why would you come to the East Coast? Like, dude, there's some actually good skiing and snowboarding on the East Coast. The other thing the Northeast has is like those mom and pop ski resorts like Otis Ridge and West Mountain. These like family owned, just old school. You literally feel like you went back in time with skiing and snowboarding and experience how these sports started, and it's just so cool to me. Like, I don't know, I'm kind of a snowboard nerd in a way, but not, I just like, it feels cool. Now the Southwest, this is basically New Mexico and Arizona, and these two states are completely slept on when it comes to skiing and snowboarding. There are some like small rundown resorts in here, but when you go to the good ones like Taos, Snowbowl, Angel Fire, Red River, you're blown away at how good these ski resorts actually are, how rad the towns are that they're in. It's like a mini slimmed down Colorado that can get really bad snow years, but also can get incredible snow years. When I rode Taos, it was probably the deepest snow I've ever ridden in my entire life, but it's like the nice thin soft Colorado POW. It was crazy. The community that's also in the Southwest is insane. When you go to New Mexico, they're just gonna thank you for being there. They're the most thankful people out there, which is super cool. And you just rode, we went and rode like the largest crew of people in New Mexico, and even in Arizona, everyone was so hyped that we were there, and we got to ride with all these good groups. Also, the most southern ski resort is in Arizona, Mount Lemmon, and we had a powder day there, and that was like the raddest time ever. It's in Tucson, Arizona, believe it or not. So there's a lot of rad stuff in the Southwest. So if you want to make a West Coast ski trip, look in this direction, and you actually might find yourself having an incredible time for a pretty low price. Now, it feels a little weird to just have so many of the greatest resorts and areas bundled in the West, because let's be real, the West Coast, Washington, Oregon, California, is so different than the middle of the West, like Colorado, Utah, Montana, Wyoming. And the reason why I say that is like the snow is exponentially different. Like the super West, the West Coast, gets what's known as Sierra cement, super thick, heavy POW. They'll get 3 feet of snow, but it's awful. Like, it's so hard to ride. It's super thick. Like, it's like POW. But you get into Utah, Colorado, Wyoming, that snow eventually turns into the softest, lightest, fluffiest, dreamy snow of all time. So like, even though it's like one region, it's such a different, I mean, it's vast, like it's so big that the snow can be so different in all of them. So the West Coast riding, I mean, California does have some pretty solid riding, and then Mount Hood in the summertime, you can't beat that. But during the winter, I'd kind of maybe stay away from the West Coast and stick more towards the middle of the West, if this is making any sense. Colorado, Wyoming, Utah, that's where you're gonna get the dreamy, amazing POW. Colorado has the super steep, gnarly mountains to ride. Jackson Hole is kind of like the best thing in Wyoming. But Utah has a bunch of really fun, rad mountains. Not so much, at least for on the resort, gnarliness, but good mountains for sure. California has some really incredible mountains. It does have some gnarly terrain, but once again, their powder is just not like our powder over here in Colorado. But overall, once you kind of hit the Colorado, Mexico, New Mexico like side, everything going west is really good skiing and snowboarding. And yes, come check it out. I still have to ride in Montana, Idaho, a bunch of these other areas that I know have incredible riding, and I think I might be like holding off on Montana because it might make me move. I don't know. I think I have a funny feeling that Montana might have the best skiing and snowboarding in the United States, but I'm waiting, I'm saving that. I don't want to be let down. But if you want to go super duper west, I have been to Alaska, and let's be real, that is going to be the best riding the US has to ride is Alaska. But overall, all of the riding in the United States in every single region is incredible, because as long as you're strapping into your snowboard, you should be having, or your skis, you should be having the most incredible time of your life, because what a fun thing to do, to put a piece of wood on your feet and slide down a mountain, whether it's skiing or snowboarding. I truly love this sport, and I love helping you guys get better, and I hope you guys got some pretty rad information. Once again, if you want to follow my journey of riding every resort in the United States, you can just hit that subscribe button, and we'll be riding new resorts every single season, and we're getting a bunch of rad opportunities to go travel the world and ride as well. So stay tuned for that, and I'll keep making videos after I've done things, because I like to make videos on stuff that I've actually done and not just like researched. So it's my own personal research on these things. That being said, share more about your region in the comments. I'd love to know what you think about your region, what's your favorite region in the United States, and overall, what a rad community we have. So as always, thanks for watching. Keep evolving. YouTube is recommending you your next video that they think you're really gonna like from this channel.